Welcome, welcome. I'm going to be talking about our Milestone 1 proof of concept process and what it means for your project, why you should want to do it, and why you should always be looking for confirmation that your project is going in the right direction. So the real fear behind a digitization project is, well, it's not going to be, okay, when I do this, there's gonna be some great return on investment. I'll be making money from digitizing, and scanning these roles is gonna just be mind-blowing. Could that be the case? Yes, typically not. The real fear is that decision makers, the people that want to move forward, so if you're watching this, maybe it's you, you're not afraid of the scanning itself and getting your film scanned. There might be a little tinge of concern, like, well, I have to send my film out to someone else's facility, things like that. But the big fear is not just getting it scanned and that process itself. It's a fear of committing a budget, of committing to a project, and that project fails. Common fear of everyone. I choose to do something and it doesn't work out. It fails. Looks bad on your organization. No bueno. You have to do another project because this one didn't work. So that's a big fear. It's just not going to work out. I'm going to choose something that is wrong. Some of the things that may come out of that, okay, you scan the film, scanning, but how did the indexing turn out? Can I even find my images? Hey, we did this big project, I can't find anything. And then now your employees are looking at you, your superiors are looking, you're going, what the heck did you do here? Or the file format's wrong. It's not able to load into your document management system. It's just delivered improperly. Or maybe the image quality is just terrible and you thought, oh my gosh, I had no idea, like what did I get from this? You scanned the film company A and you delivered these. I can't even read anything. What's going on? So the big fear, again, is not the scanning itself, it's what's the result? Is this going to be a failure, and how is that going to look, and what's going to happen afterwards? So what the M1 is, the milestone 1, that's what we call it. And it's just, we don't have 50 milestones or anything in projects. We have steps and processes, but we just decide we're going to call this the milestone 1 or M1 proof of concept. And what it is when you work with us for a scanning project, let's say we're scanning your microfilm, you have 5,000 rolls. What we're going to do is we have a contract, scope of work, all the admin stuff's done. Logistics, we have your film. Before we just start scanning thousands of rolls, we're going to build the process flow, which is every step of your project in a process. That could be 10 steps for a very simple project, or probably 15 or 20 minimum. It could be 50 or 60, depending on the complexity and what's required for your project. We're gonna build that process flow, then we're gonna take a small batch of your project materials. So again, 5,000 rolls, let's call it 5 or 10 rolls. And let's assume it's all the same document type. These are all criminal files. We're gonna take those 10 rolls, and once we've built it, we're gonna run them through the process flow every step of the way and then review it with you to get approval. So the key to this, I'll go into a little more detail on what's included in the milestone, but we have a project, we build your process flow, we run a small batch, and we review it with you to get your approval before we move forward. That's the key. We don't move forward with the rest of the project until we get your approval. So you confirm it's what you want, you approve it, we confirm it is what you want, we have your written approval to move forward, and if anything weird comes up, we can talk about it. But that's the key, getting your approval on a small sample, on a small batch, to make sure everything's looking good and we can move forward with the rest of the project. So there are a couple ways that the milestone basically de-risks your project. I mean, there's always some type of risk, but at least mitigates risk, lowers the risk of something going wrong, like you said, or something being delivered that you didn't want. But one is, we're building we have the scope of work that we agreed to in a contract. That's kind of the sales admin portion. That gets translated into a production style process flow, and we run that small batch, that test batch, through the process flow. So we get to build the process flow to make sure our team builds it correctly, and our salesperson, your account executive, gets to see the result of that. They get to review it and say, yes, this is the way this was delivered, the way I translated it from the contract to the production language. It looks correct, everything's accurate, image quality is there, the indexing is correct, and now I can review it with my client, you. So one, it translates from sales to production, and they get to confirm that it's correct before they review it with you. Second, we get to see if the process flow even works, because we may build it and then run your roles through that process flow and something gets flagged, there's an exception, there's an issue. Maybe it's something on your film, or it's a different type of film than we all thought it was based on conversations and an original sample, something like that. So instead of being simplex microfilm, just one image at a time, it's duplex. Okay, we have to tweak the process flow. So it bubbles up things that we may not have known about, you may not have known about, before we started. So we get to address those during the milestone before we move forward the main project. And then of course, lastly, the biggest benefit is when the milestone is ready, when the M1 is ready, you get to review it and approve that it's correct. So you may see it and go, that's absolutely exactly what I thought. I like the image quality, indexing is good, it's approved. Or you might say, whoa, the image quality is great, everything looks fine. I know I said I wanted it named this way, but can we actually tweak this or change this now that I'm seeing it and seeing how it's actually gonna be delivered? Maybe I want to change something. So that also allows you to kind of take a breath and pause before we move forward and scan all 5,000 roles. Now, another thing, let's say these are actually 1,000 boxes and you work at a school. Well, maybe 600 of the boxes are student records and 400 are employee files. Those would be two types of materials in a project, and those might actually have two distinct process flows. So you might be approving both, and one may be good to go, the other one you may want to change. So you can see how this can be critical for not just the project as a whole, but individual document types, individual records. Maybe you have 1,000 boxes and 5,000 microfilm rolls, absolutely different process flows, and you want to review both because they're going to present differently. The image quality is going to be different because paper files are first generation images. Microfilm is second generation or third generation because it's an image of something, of a physical material that was a photograph of something else. So these milestones and building the process flows and reviewing with you are critical for you knowing what's happening and de-risking the chance of failure or something going wrong later on. And of course, not only does it de-risk it, this saves you money in the end in the case of, let's say, rework. So if we didn't do a milestone one, we had a contract, and things can be interpreted differently sometimes. We have a scope of work. Let's say we deliver 5,000, the images from your, let's say, 1,000 boxes of paper files and 5,000 rolls of microfilm. We say, project's done, we never did an M1, let's pretend. Project's done, you say, well, this is one I wasn't expecting this. I thought it was gonna be named A, B, and C. You named it X, Y, Z, and these look different. They're not organized what I thought. And we said, well, the contract says this, so we did it like this. Well, one, now there's contention between us, which we of course don't want. And two, you're thinking you didn't get what you want. We're thinking we did do what we want. Now we have to figure out, well, do you want it done again? Are we gonna charge you to do it again because we did what the contract says as we see it? So you can see how that could be an issue. Or maybe you do have to rescan it. Maybe you find another company. You're working with company A, they deliver something, it doesn't go right. Instead of working with them again, you contact company B. That's gonna cost more money. You wanna avoid that. You don't want the failure, you don't want to deal with this issue. Having the milestone allows you to see the project, approve it, and then move forward with confidence. Now, one thing is, if you have, let's say, 1,000 boxes of paper and 5,000 rolls of microfilm, and they're all similar document types, and we run the milestone one, you're thinking you're doing 2 or 3 boxes and 10 or so rolls on those thousands of other quantities, units of the materials. Well, what if something else comes up? That's a great question, because other types do come up. Things will pop up in these projects that no one knew about, no one expected. If you're working with us, when that happens, not necessarily if, but when, we will set that as an exception and discuss it with you, saying, hey, I know you said that these are all student records, but we actually found 30 boxes with large format drawings. These must be from the facilities department. And we discuss that with you, saying, well, this doesn't work under the process flow, under the spec of what we're already doing that you approved. Let's talk about this. Do you want us to scan these? Do you want us to return them? Do they fit in somewhere with the other materials? Is it a separate process? So those will bubble up and we'll discuss them with you. And if it requires, those will go through their own process as well if they can't be fit into the existing project. So it's a great thought if you're wondering what happens when something else comes up. That's what we do. We let you know, we work it out and collaborate to move forward. Now, who should use the M1 and what's the next step? Well, we believe that everyone should use an M1 type of process, a proof of concept, so that their clients are happy at the end. Now, if you're working with us, you're gonna get the milestone one. We're gonna do that with you. Every project has its own process flow, and we're going to do that with you to make sure you get the result you're paying for, that you want. Now, if you're not working with us and you're talking to another company, you're already in contract, you're moving forward, just make sure that they have a proof of concept and you can test or you can review your project with that first sample batch before you move forward with the larger project. Just do that, again, even if you're not working with us, to make sure you're getting the result you want and something doesn't go wrong where it gets delivered and everything comes crashing down because now the project is a failure, you have to redo it, all that stuff we talked about earlier. Avoid that. Now, speaking of things going wrong, this video over here talks about 4 scanning mistakes and what you should do to avoid them. So check that out as the next video you can watch so you can make sure you don't do these things when you move forward with your scanning project.